You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 93 of the Daily Beaver here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day is Thursday, April 6th, 2023, and it is going to be a mostly cloudy day here at the Beaver Lodge. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, and with me as always is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. And I see a lot of kits have joined us already. Good morning, Kit Elaine, Kit Tavi G, Kit Linda M, Kit Daniel, Kit Jen. All you beautiful people. Lovely to see you, and I hope that you're having a wonderful morning. Well, before we get into it, I'm buzzing. I am in a very, very, very good mood. But before we get into my stuff, let's say good morning to our good friend Mr. Grizzly and ask you, how's your mental health doing today, sir?
Well, I was on mute. Good morning, Mr. Beaver.
Ooh, okay.
Well, let's just say I had disturbing dreams last night.
Okay.
Very disturbing, like so disturbing that it took me an hour this morning to come to the full realization that everything that I dreamt was just that, just a dream. And it was, freaky. I'm not even going to tell you about it. It was bizarre. I'm like, hey, but I might want to seek counsel and say, listen, what does that mean exactly? Because I'm a little freaked out by it. I can't even get into it. It was very, very bizarre, to say the least. So I'm a little tired this morning and a little out of sorts at the moment, but that's okay. You know, life will go on, and that's what's important, I think.
Okay. I am in a good mood, very, very good mood, because, well, I'm still very, very happy from our interview yesterday with Keith Bogue. A little bit of a difficult start, but it's how you finish, and boy, did we stick that landing.
Yes, we did.
Dismount. It's all about the dismount. Um,
I think that the activity prior to the dismount's a little important too, but
yes, but I mean, when you stick the landing, the dismount is always very impressive.
true, true.
Oh boy, we're already going off the rails. Okay, so that went very well, and the kids seem to have loved it because, in terms of number of tips, we had our best ever day.
Hey, awesome.
So that was very nice. So thank you so much, kits, for that. Because there are, sometimes there are weeks that there's no tips. So it was kind of nice that that one resonated and people liked it. So we love it. Yay. And drum roll, please, because I know you are waiting with bated breath because you've been following the adventures of Mr. Beaver, the curler.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Well, we had the mixed doubles semifinal last night
And
against a team that's very good. They defeated us the first two times we played this year. In fact, I think they had always defeated us every time we played in previous years. We finally won one in the last round. In mixed doubles, you only have 6 rocks, so you can only score 6 points in one end. We opened
okay.
with a 5.
Oh, so that's pretty darn good then, I guess.
We won 8-4. We're going to the final. 16, 17 years of curling, my first ever club final. Yes.
Well, congratulations are in order then, I guess.
Woohoo! And my Tuesday night team is still in it, so hey, who knows? Why not try for 2 finals? Let's be greedy.
Well, give it a go, see what happens.
But I am a jock again. Woohoo! Hey,
If that's
I
what you think curling is.
well, last year when we got the trophy for winning C division, that was my first trophy, sports trophy, since I think I got most improved curler in my second year of curling back in high school.
Okay.
It's so let's say the trophy case doesn't have medals from swimming. Yes, actually, I remember. Yeah, when I was swimming, it was okay. But I mean, yeah, trophy day. Just there's not a lot of trophies in the case. I got most of my trophies for finishing first in class and stuff, not for my prowess on any type of court or anything that would require me to swing anything or kick anything or throw anything or run or catch or.
How
All
many
right,
days are left in the year? Do you know how many days are left in the year?
this year
240 something. We're only 95 days into this year, something like that.
Yeah.
So 200 and something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just doing some math in my head. That's all, and I was just curious because I just realized our population for the country is
Total.
well, we're going to hit 40 million before the year is out because we average about 39,776,644. So there's a real good chance we'll crack 40 million this year.
All right.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Do you have any? Yeah, you are very excited about this. I love this. I think
I
it's
am.
amazing.
I am. Well, we're joining a new club. Yay, Canada. I remember it was 18 million when I was a kid, and it's cool to see us grow like that. And the growth gets exponential after that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
it's a
got a
similar
couple of.
concept to when you're in a car, right? And you're watching the odometer for when it all
Mhm.
flips.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're going to hit the 100,000. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's what it is. Strange things that fascinate my bizarre brain. I do have a couple of quick hits this morning, and let's go with these 2 contrasting stories. The first
Okay.
one being greed and crony capitalism and late stage capitalism. Galen Weston getting a raise, a $1.2 million raise.
Mhm.
Brought his compensation to $11.79 million a year, but they don't make any profit, according to him. And then the contrast is, for the first time in 25 years, the number of children using food banks has increased to 1 in 4. Toronto's Daily Bread Food Bank, pre-pandemic, would get something like 65,000 monthly users. And now that's quadrupled. They're over 250,000 users a month.
Yeah.
And what is the province doing? Well, honestly, I don't know. I'm told that there's supposed to be ODSP payments are supposed to be commensurate to the cost of living, so they're supposed to rise this year. I'm like, oh, that's great if that happens. But what do we do in the meantime? Between now and whenever that is, people still need to eat and keep themselves housed. So that's kind of an issue, to say the least. It's something that really does concern me. As I've said time and time again, I believe that food banks are a failure of society and a failure of government because you're not taking care of your people. You know, one of the things that's really troubling to me is the amount of people that work for national grocer chain Loblaw that need to use food banks. Do, do you know how, like, you work for a grocer and you have to use a food bank because they won't give you 40 hours a week because they're trying to eliminate all the union positions, and they only hire full-time part-time, which means you don't get 40 hours, so you're not full, so you might work 38 hours, right? Or maybe they'll work you 12 hours one week and then 30 hours the next week. And then, of course, Doug Ford's big thing about cost averaging for monthly overtime. You're familiar with that legislation, right? So if you work
Yep.
anything over 44 hours is overtime in the province of Ontario. So if I work 44 hours this week, 20 hours the next week, and 60 hours the week after that, and 20 hours the week after that, they average it out over the month. So instead of getting 24 hours of overtime, I would get whatever, you'd have to do the math on that quickly, but it would be a hell of a lot less. Would I get any overtime, actually, if you did the math? So 44, 60, 20, 20. No, I wouldn't end up getting any overtime at all, actually, because they average it out over the total of the month. So, yeah, and that's the law in Ontario. That we can thank Doug Ford's government for that. Thank you. Thank you. I remember I told a friend of mine about that, and he's like, no, that's not possible. And then I showed him the legislation that was tabled. There was a big story on it. It was in the news for about 24 hours, and then they let it fall away because, who gives a damn about us poors, right? Anyway,
Right.
what a terrible way to start the show. Let's change it up. Sorry. This is called a typogram, when they take words and they put the words into the shape of what the words represent. And this is the human skeleton.
Oh, that is really cool.
Right? Tarsus, tarsal, phalanges, metatarsals. It's kind of cool. Tibia, fibula. Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Is really cool.
Yeah, typogram, they call it. Aaron Kuhn, Aaronkuue. Is that HN? Wow.
HN, yes.
I just got my eyes checked. I ordered a new prescription. So for the listeners, it is a picture of a skeleton in mid stride, and each bone is represented by the word describing what it is, like humerus, fibula, tibula. Anyway, yeah, ulna, radius. You get it. Kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I do not know what to really talk about today. To be totally honest.
I got one more thing then.
All right, go ahead.
Something that we need to keep tied to Skippy forever. This is from the Friends of the Simon Wiesenthal Center. We strongly condemn a protest held by COVID-19 conspiracists, yeah, I guess that's a word, at the National Holocaust Monument in Ottawa. Video footage shows protesters openly comparing the Holocaust and discrimination of Jews in Canada in the 1930s to their own situation. Red Toryism at red_Toryism on Twitter replies with, this stems from the convoy, and Pierre Poliver cannot detach himself from that. He owns and is responsible for all their actions now. I do want to keep that pinned to him, but I think that the author's stretching a little bit. Owns and is responsible for all their actions. You know how much I dislike the man, but I think that's maybe a bridge too far. What do you think? I can't say he's responsible for all their actions. Yeah, that's the thing. That's a bridge too far. No.
Well, again, it's that thing of superlatives again, right? That we keep on talking about. It's the best. It's the worst. You're responsible for all of it. It's,
that you guys talked about yesterday on Dean's show, by the way. That was great. I
Oh,
watched. Yeah, I was able to catch it because I was able to leave work at a sane hour yesterday, so I was able to catch the last half of the show live. And yeah, no, that was great appearance and your insight. I know they appreciated, and I thought it was just wonderful the way you broke it all down, and especially how you explained, how you reside in both camps and the
right.
issues that revolve around that.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just a crusty old white guy.
But it is interesting because when we talk about intersectionality, we always talk about it, let's say, in a positive way.
Mhm.
We're well, positive way, where things connect and intersect, and there's problems that you may not have thought of because you don't have a foot in two camps,
Right.
right? Um, but that also means there's potential allyships and new friends and new things can emerge, and people putting their minds together as well when that happens. So I mean, there is good and bad, but yeah, when world events happen, right, and they speak to two or three or four sides of you,
Hmm.
it's similar as having mixed emotions, right? Remember when we were having the conversation, um, I believe it was on Casual Fridays with Wade, talking about sometimes when someone passes away, yes, there's sadness and grief, but there's also relief,
Yes. Yes.
right? And sometimes when people feel relief, sometimes they feel guilty.
And Wade
Right.
did discuss that. Yeah. No, that you're
Yeah.
you're right about that.
So you got the mixed emotions thing. So it's like, yes, I understand that you feel angry about this and that you are righteously angry and that your cause is noble, but there are two causes at play. And in order to help your own, you kind of pissed on another. And it's like,
Well,
and it's like,
here's one
so,
Rhiannon just sent me. You got to see this. This is a thing of beauty. Have a picture of your friend Kid Rock drinking a Bud Light as a drag queen sings. Coors hat, check. Bud Light, check. Drag queen, check. Hypocrisy, check.
ooh,
That's good, eh?
I like that.
Here's another one. This is another thing of beauty. Thanks, Ree. This is Saucy Sea, which just sent me these. Ron Filipowski, I can't even begin to tell you the psychological torment this is causing to our right wing friends. I'll blow this up so you can see it a little bit better. And that's the Jack Daniels teams up with RuPaul Drag Race alums in Small Town Big Pride campaign.
I
Drag Queen Summer
love it.
Glamp. Jack Daniels Tennessee Fire presents Drag Queen Summer Glamp.
Oh,
You know they're losing their ever loving minds over this.
well, you know what? I'll do you one better.
Oh,
I'll do you
please.
one better. This is something I happen to know because I live where I live. And I actually know this person because
Hmm.
when this person is not in drag, we sometimes play tennis against each other.
Okay.
And he kicks my ass something fierce. But this is my friend's alter ego. All right,
Okay.
Mr. Grizzly, if you will put it up there.
1 second. Queen of
Rowena,
Wheat.
yes, the Queen of Wheat beer, with an image of drag queen extraordinaire in our region, Miss Rowena Way.
Rowena Way.
Rowena Way.
Good. That's good.
Yes, Spearhead Brewing Company here in Kingston.
Hmm.
Started that, I think, a couple of years ago. The Queen of Wheat beer. There you go.
That's good. I like that.
And like Queen of Wheat, cream of wheat.
Yeah. No, I got.
So,
I
it,
just in regards
don't
to the
show the
Jack Daniels
Americans.
thing. No. In regards to the Jack Daniels thing, a response from one person is, "This is damn cool, and I'm going to love all of the right wingers taking their Daniels out back so they can blow them to smithereens." They'll do it.
Yeah, they probably put it like in a skeet machine. Go pull.
Yeah, yeah. It's this. Oh man, this one. No, this one just this. I love this because it's just yeah. The height of hypocrisy. Drinking a Bud Light with a Coors hat on next to a drag queen singing.
And I am not, as a gay man, I'm not going to draw attention to the mouth on that photo.
No, 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 no. We won't. We won't discuss that. No, no. We won't. We won't address that at all. We'll just overlook that one altogether, won't we?
It could just be an unfortunate moment. Take a picture.
These things happen.
These things. Hey, as a curler, I know that. But
Well,
as a
it's
skipper,
camera catches you at the wrong time. Yeah.
well, the thing is, you're standing there like this. You're holding the broom as a skip like this, so you're not like actually worried about like your posture, or everything.
No, no.
So absolutely, every picture in existence of me skipping has me like with my like lower back slouched and my belly like way, way out because I forgot to stand up straight. And I'm just like holding it.
Yeah.
There's not a good picture in existence of me curling.
So let's change the topic once for a quick second. You and I discussed this briefly the other day, and we're just going to give the kits a tidbit of this so you can get an understanding of what's going on in the United States of America right now. We did a panel show about this was it June, I think, on the overturning of Roe v. Wade. We did,
Yes.
and then we did a follow-up show.
Yes.
And this is Reverend Robert Schenk from the Dietrich Bonhoeffer Institute. He's the president and founder. And he's discussing political influence on the Supreme Court. It's 1 minute and 27 seconds. It's from C-SPAN, which is like CPAC. CPAC? Yeah. Canadian Parliamentary Accent. Anyway, just watch this from C-SPAN 3. This was from December of 2022. This is troubling in ways that I can't really even put my finger on. It's the thing we discussed. It's the thing we warned about, and this is what is happening right now in America.
Very telling event. A meeting inside the U.S. Capitol with Republican Party operatives and a number of leading evangelical spokespersons, institutional leaders, ministry heads from across the country. And in that meeting that I participated in, the conversation went something like this. You guys want Roe v. Wade overturned. We can do that for you. But you take the whole enchilada. You take the whole thing. You take everything else that comes with it. Because if you want Roe gone, you have to work with us. So you take it all. I was at the table, and I watched my colleagues nod uncomfortably, but from that point on, the community that I had served and still do made a deal with the devil. And that deal was that we would support everything on the conservative agenda, whether or not we had conscientious conflict with it. The means were justified by the end of that.
Yep. That took place on December 8th. December 8th, 2022. It was a House Committee on the Judiciary, and it convened a hearing titled Undue Influence Operation Higher Court and Politicking at SCOTUS to determine covert activity and influence on members of the U.S. Supreme Court by a group called Faith in Action, now called Faith and Liberty, which was under Schenk's leadership.
He has since switched sides. He's now become an advocate for pro-choice because he is disturbed at how far they're willing to take this. And that whole enchilada that he spoke of, that we talked about, that they hinted at, the next thing that they're going to well, I mean, they're already making laws. You'll get charged, you'll go to prison for 20 years. There's some states that are discussing the fact that they might want to have a death penalty for women that have an abortion. That's very pro-life now, isn't it? And they're also talking about ending contraception. So you no morning after pill, no condoms, no birth control, none of that. They want to take that right off the table. And you know what comes next? Right after that, the end of same-sex marriage. So they're spinning the thing backwards as fast as they can. And he has, like he said, we had to make a deal with the devil to do it. And he is now a changed man because he realizes that they're in the process of stripping people of their rights. And not only that, turning back the clock 150 years. It is just so strange and bizarre and upsetting. I
Yeah.
mean, we're gonna have a deeper dive into that in the future, and I'd like to be able to do another panel if we could about it, because that whole thing. I watched that the other day, and it gave me pause. I mean, I actually shuddered
Hmm.
because these
Yeah.
are the things I said were happening, and now you've got somebody on the inside who came out and said, "Yeah, it's happening."
Right. Right.
I would have much preferred to have been proven to be completely wrong and no, Paul, that was just a conspiracy and you got suckered into it. I didn't. It's real. It's happening.
Indeed. And in the States, there's like other things that happen because, for example, like in Wisconsin, with the voting in of Judge Janet Protasewicz, which will flip the Supreme Court, that allows the court to then repeal, I believe it was like a 1930s abortion law,
Mm-hmm.
which came back into effect the second that the Supreme Court repealed Roe versus Wade in that state, which has no exceptions for rape and incest.
Yeah.
And also, I believe, allows for criminal prosecution of the doctors that perform the services or provide care. And in Michigan, they've also repealed their old law that was on the books, and because they had a referendum on which Michiganders voted, the right to reproductive care has been enshrined in the state constitution over there. But so there are some developments with that, but there are other states that are, and with that, in Michigan, when they repealed that, there was also a law on the books that apparently did not allow even for the advertising of any medication that could help with abortion. So, for example, the abortion pill or the day after pill, you would not be able to get it, to advertise it. So that law has also been repealed. So yeah, you're right. It's but that's sort of hearing out loud what we assumed, because the big question all the time was, why are these evangelicals overlooking, what, 3 times divorced, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
and then philanderer and everything, right? And all they just turned around and said, "Oh, the Lord works in mysterious ways," right? Which is like the get out of explain everything away card, right?
It was, and we can't sit here and be smug in Canada and look down our noses, because that shit's happening in this country
Oh
too.
yeah.
Klondike Papers have proven that.
Campaign Life Organization.
Exactly. They've penetrated their way into Canadian government, and you heard the rant I went on the other day about Skippy talking about God-given rights. Our rights in this country were not given to you by any deity, any of the 4,000 of them, whether you worship any of them or not. Your rights were not granted to you by a god of any type. They were granted to you by men and women. They helped write the legislation. And they were politicians, elected officials, and our rights are enshrined in law, and they are maintained by our political system and protected by our Canadian soldiers. So this creep of evangelical right-wing conservatism into the Canadian political system not only disturbs me on a level that I can't even fully comprehend, but it troubles me to know that they disregard anybody who doesn't fall in line with their thought process. If you don't think the way they do, you're out. And not only that, I mean, as evidenced by what they tried to do, the BBC, what they tried to do by, had oh boy, I'm blanking on names here. Search out a guy that they had left the organization. They wanted to
Oh
find
yes.
and get him
Yeah.
turned over. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, because we know they're going to harm him. These are dangerous people with dangerous ideas. Look, the Handmaid's Tale, as great a book as it is, and as wonderful as it is a television series to watch and disturbing, it is not an instruction manual, people. It's not an instruction manual. I'm sorry, I don't mean to trigger anybody, Ellen, but some things need to be discussed. And I apologize if this is triggering. I really do. I don't mean to harm anybody. I think anybody who would know that That's my mantra, is to do no harm. And I don't want to do that, but we cannot ignore this. It's here. And if we let it go, we'll find ourselves in the death grip of a political theocracy. And I want no part of that. You're free to practice whatever your religion is. You are not free to force it upon others. It's a troubling time.
So on that, there was this, right? That's where it all stems from, right? It was this thing from PP.
Mm-hmm.
When he's got this tweet and says, hold on, I'll blow it up a little bit here. Whoops. There you go. Freedom, it's our lifeblood. It's a God-given right, and no government power should ever take it away. Stand against liberal censorship. Okay. So in there, he talks about a whole bunch of stuff, and you have Max Fawcett of the National Observer says, did he just refer to Pierre Trudeau as God? Because that's who we have to thank for our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Mm-hmm. And then some guy comes along, this Anthony Coke
Yes,
guy.
I know.
Right.
I saw that, and I'm like,
yeah.
What?
So he goes, imagine you thinking you have your rights given to you by politicians. And here's where I'm thinking. It's like, no, sorry. Imagine thinking that you have your fundamental human rights given to you by a sky daddy or sky mommy that not every human believes in, by the way, rather than thinking that those rights are inherent to you by simply existing as a human, regardless of either gods or politicians.
Mm.
That's my take on it. It's by virtue of the fact that you exist on this orb and you are breathing the same air as every single other human being that is on this orb, there is an amount of respect that you are entitled to just for that. Every single person's entitled to that.
Mm-hmm.
After that, everything is earned. Everything after that is earned. So your rights, your fundamental human rights, are yours because you exist. Not because some politician. Now, it takes politicians and men, quote unquote, to acknowledge those rights.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not given to you. Words matter.
Oh, yes.
They're not granted to you. Because you have them. They come intrinsic to the fact that you are breathing. Those rights come. That's the starting point, at least in my opinion. So, any of this? No.
Like I say, I want all religion removed from the Canadian parliamentary system of or the Westminster system of parliamentary democracy. I don't want religion there. There's no place for religion in the state. None. Zero. Like zero. And I know that upsets some people, and I get it. But you have to understand that your beliefs are not my beliefs. So therefore, that is why we have a system of secular laws to protect everyone equally. Well, at least they're supposed to. I know that there's inequalities and inequities all across this land, and we hope to try and remedy that, because Canada, as Pierre Trudeau once said, is a dream. Don't let the dream die. You need to work. You need to work on the dream. You need to work every day to achieve the dream, and you need to stay ever vigilant, because there are people in positions of power in this country that would take everything away from you if they could. And they'll do it under the guise of giving you freedom. It's not freedom, it's fascism. The fascism creep is on the rise in this country. What is it? Is it the 14 points or 12? I can't remember the 14 points. 14 points of fascism. What are we at? Like number 7 or 8 right now?
Oh, we touch on all of them at some point.
Yeah.
They don't come in. They're not a thing in order, right? It's not like you get the first characteristic and it's just things that come along, right? It's not like, oh my God, we're at characteristic 13 now. Ooh, we better. No, it's like depending on the thing they popped up.
This one from Ryan, Getting Sauce, the podcast. I'm an atheist, but I've had experience with perfectly grilled Côte de Boeuf that made me call out for sweet baby Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Dude, that's funny.
It's true. I've had meals that have made me weep because they're so tasty. So
Well, I'm sure we've all had a religious experience at one point in our life. Oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yeah, when I wash my hair.
Religious experience.
Yes, yes, yes.
Was that
Remember
a
those
commercial?
Herbal Essences commercials?
Herbal Essence, right. Yes, I knew it was I do use shampoo on my beard, but I don't have a beard all the time. This is only since last August, and when it's gone, it'll be a couple of years before I have it again. So I don't really pay attention, and I don't watch television. I watch, streaming services. I don't really watch TV. So the only time I see ads, literally the only time I see any ads are when I'm watching a hockey game or a football game or a baseball game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or even a basketball game, because I like Raptors too. So live sports, it's the only time I see ads. So I'm not up to date on the latest commercials.
We've got a few minutes before we go, and I'd like to play one or two clips, if you would. They're just audio, so we don't need to do anything. I think that it should work if I just press on it. But it's Arthur Pawlowski.
Pawlowski, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a real special piece of work. That
there are two things, just two clips I heard in a podcast, and I want to play them just in case some of the kids have never heard him in his own voice. Right?
Good idea. I like that idea.
Okay. Wow. Wait a minute. The volume wasn't up enough.
Get that volume up there, brother.
Okay, hold on. My head is going to do weird things because I have to look at the other screen. The numbers are kind of small, but I'll be ready.
do you need some glass? Here. Let me hand you these. Here.
They're literally microscopic.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Let's give it a go.
Attacked, hurt, and enslaved by the very people that swore to take care of us. The time has come for the Justin Trudeau's, Jason Kennys, John Horgans, Heather Stefanssons, Doug Ford, and the rest of the pile of snakes, vipers, and scorpions to resign.
Basically
Okay. So he's referring to humans as, well, animals. Degrading, dehumanizing. And it is all the current premiers. So he's going through the list of all the conservative premiers. Well, he did throw in John Horgan.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Anymore. Yes, he did.
He's not anymore.
Now there's this one.
Convoy protest after Ottawa.
This is a price attached to freedom. How do you think the First War ended? Millions had to die, and that's the price that we have to be willing to pay if our children are going to have a free and democratic society. This is our time. And if this is our Alamo, so be it.
And
our Alamo? That's not good.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hey,
now, remember on the call when she says she has been following his activism? She took the call.
Yeah.
The man is 2 months in that call away from being in court. He is charged. She has been following his activism.
So she knows full well who he is and what he stands for.
And he first had charges related to not respecting pandemic rules, and those charges were stayed. So the charges that we're talking about right now are criminal mischief and violations of the Criminal Infrastructure Act, Defensive Infrastructure Act that Kenny passed. Those are serious crimes.
Yeah.
Serious crimes. These are not the not wearing the mask ones. Those charges were stayed. How does this woman still have a job?
Well, it's
She
pretty simple.
she has 11 full minutes for a conversation
hmm
with someone who actually currently has a case before the courts.
hmm
How does she still have a job?
She shouldn't. Here's a quote I got for you. I'm going to put it on the screen and I'll read it out for those about Ms. Smith. Let me just pull this down here so you can read it. From DK Gray, at the real DK Gray. I've known Danielle Smith since 2004. What you need to know is that you are an abstraction to her. She doesn't care about you, your family, or your well being. You are the guinea pigs in her social policy laboratory so she can test her libertarian theories. Nothing more. As evidenced by the fact that she took an 11-minute phone call with somebody who is being, I mean, it's just the most bizarre. How is she still employed? How is she still employed? It's just bizarre. Well, you know why? Because there are religious zealots in places of power that want to keep her there. And they have, what do the Russians call it? Compromat on people that they can hold over their head and threaten them with. We'll release this and we'll blackmail you if you do anything to upset the apple cart that we are currently riding upon. So yeah, we're in trouble if we let this go unabated.
Mm-hmm.
If this is not addressed appropriately.
And then we got one more, and this is Danielle.
Right? Just for people who might not have been following Alberta politics very closely in the last couple months.
That's correct. This is not an island of a story, as it were. As I've said,
Oops.
she was talking about amnesty for
There we
BC leadership.
I'm getting some legal advice on who we might be able to issue pardons for, but the things that come to top of mind for me are people who got arrested as pastors, people who got arrested for not, or given fines for not wearing masks. These are not things that are normal to get fines and get prosecuted for. So I'm going to look into the range of outstanding fines that there still are, and to get some legal advice on which ones we're able to cancel and provide amnesty for.
See you later.
Okay, so that was from way before this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the first things she says in there is people who identify as pastors.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to be. There's no licensing. There's no exam. There's no degree. You just wake up one day and say, I'm a pastor.
Yeah, you can go to the seminary or not, but a pastor is different than a priest or a
But
minister.
she's already doing it there.
Mhm.
Those words are not there by accident.
Of course not.
Why would she talk about specifically? So you get an exemption for breaking the law if you're a pastor.
She needs to placate the religious zealot base. These are dangerous people.
The more you listen
Mhm.
to her speak, the more you listen to that 11-minute tape, the more there are little words here and there.
Dog whistles.
Turns of phrases. Well, not even dog whistles, just sort of like,
Rather peculiar.
why would you be saying that then? It's because my question about her, right, is she lying to him or is she lying to all of us then? Because before she says some of those things, right, one of the things he says is, I feel I need to come swinging at you
Mm-hmm.
because you made all these promises. Well, when he's talking about all the promises, he's going back to her saying all those months, mentioning specifically pastors.
Mm.
She made a promise specifically to pastors there. She's been following his activism.
Yeah.
He knows he's been like,
It's an admission of guilt. She's not the,
there is no reason to be singling out pastors for special exclusion way back then.
she's not exactly the brightest bulb in the Christmas tree, is she?
You got to pay attention to all the words.
Can we end it on something, an anniversary? And there's an anniversary we talked about in the green room, but that's not the one I'm gonna end it with. But I will make mention that yesterday was the 29th anniversary of the passing of Kurt Cobain. But here's one that's one for the history books. April 6th is the 55th anniversary of Pierre Trudeau winning the leadership of the Liberal Party of Canada. April 6th, 1968.
Oh, well, look at that. Now this makes sense. Remember when Justin was walking up
Mm-hmm.
when he first won?
Yep.
With a whole bunch of people? That reminds me of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I've never seen Pierre with sunglasses. He looks like a cool ass.
Yeah.
You know how I'm going to end that. Right? Cool ass. Not going to say those words because your mom is listening. But
I'm trying not to say them
but,
too.
ooh. But yeah, that's like cool ass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do, sir. We do indeed.
All right. Programming note, kids. I do not think that we will have a live show tomorrow or Monday. What it's Easter, and I'm traveling, and I'm not sure where it is that I'm traveling. I'm going to have an internet connection that is good enough to be able to do a live show, even though I do have the equipment.
Bring the gear with you, and we can do a test. And if it doesn't work out,
I'll bring the gear with me. I know that tomorrow I should probably be en route in transit, leaving at 5 something in the morning to go where I'm going. So I know I will not be available to do a show. If I'm able to record a little something between now and the time I go, to be able to play it for you tomorrow morning, I will. But there may not be anything tomorrow, and there may not be anything Monday.
We'll play it by ear.
But we'll play it by ear. So just don't want you to be disappointed.
Give me a chance to work on a couple of music shows that I'm behind on too, so get caught up.
Right. Okay, kids. I hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Daily Beaver, because we really did enjoy making this for you. And I cannot find my notes at the moment.
That's okay. Yesterday we had an abrupt end because I had to go put out 4 fires. Literally, it was like, not real fires, of course, but it's like, oh yeah, we got a projector dead. We got this. I'll take care of it. Got to go.
Yep. Remember, and that bought me time. Thank you. Remember that sharing is caring, and word of mouth is priceless. We work so well together. So let your peeps know about us, because democracy is something that you do. We're still going to say the same things. Write your MPs, write your MLAs, write your whatever it is in your province, MLA, MNA,
MPP, whatever it is.
Write your senators, contact your media, and let them know that you want better and that you demand better. So this, and because it is Easter as well, let's hope that it doesn't come with some subliminal messaging from Skippy representing himself as the good Lord.
Yeah, He Is Risen ad from a couple of years ago. My mother flipped when she goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, right, Mom, this is not cool." She goes, "No, that's not. It's not." You know, you could say He Is Risen, and in very tiny print along the bottom, paid for by whatever. Instead, he had He Is Risen in his picture there, all proud, and people go, "That's not real." Yeah, actually it is. I've seen the newspaper of it.
Yep, there you go.
You have the you have it right there, do you?
Oh yeah. Look at it. Oh yeah, we have it there.
Yeah, that's that one. Click on that. Can we bring that one up? Well, that's
So
either
Pierre,
way. He is risen, Pierre Poliver.
Yeah, this is like taking. Yeah, this is taking me places I don't want to go now.
It's okay.
So, this one,
Christ is risen.
I mean, why is he
exactly
okay? When you're celebrating Christ being risen or having risen, you shouldn't be bigger than anything in the anything Christ in the
Your name shouldn't. If anything, on microscopic print paid for by so and so's office. That's it. But I mean, really. Honestly, as a politician, you should not be attaching your name to it.
Yeah. So this is subliminally also
oh yeah
trying to say, I am Jesus.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Jesus like.
It's ugh.
Yes.
I could go on for hours and I don't have the time. I got to get to work.
Hi, I'm Pierre Poliver, and I'm more Christian than you.
Basically.
Pretty much.
Let's roll on out of here, sir.
Right. So if you really like this podcast, you can find us on Crier Media Network as well as Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated. Yes, I see people. I see the kids coughing in PBCC. We love to hear from you. Reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, on Twitter at True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. If you subscribe to us at our pod page, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words, we will come to you when we have something fresh off the bandwidth. And why not subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel if you're watching there, because that helps us out big time. So smash those buttons, the subscribe and like buttons. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show, and if you're watching, well, then you can, we do not have the QR code by your head, Mr. Grizzly, to scan today.
I'll bring it up. Hang on. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
So you scan that, and that will bring you to our emergency hot chocolate Guinness Caesar coffee fund, where you can keep us hydrated so that we can keep on bringing this, well, whatever it is we bring to you. If you're listening, then you just let those fingers on those very, very sexy hands of yours do the walking to our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters. And that's where you can make your donation. And we're speeding through this, so we don't have time to individually thank the three people that made us donations, gave us donations yesterday.
We
will thank you individually during the week next week. So don't worry, you will get your due. And of course, from the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying that until next time, dear kids, it can be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And if you are celebrating this weekend or observing, depending on how you call it, then and whatever it is that you are observing, because there's lots of celebrations this time of year. May it be joyful and with people that you love, and may there be lots of laughter and good times and good food. Right?
One thing I need to add in here, in case you missed it, because I didn't, and I forgot to mention it earlier. Leslyn Lewis sending out a joyful Passover greeting to the Jewish community. She dined with a Nazi. Yeah, she did. She did. I saw the tweet. I don't have it in front of me right now. Otherwise, I'd put it on the screen. But I was like, you dined with a Nazi. Yeah. What do you say to that? I don't even know anymore. So here's my word of advice. Don't dine with Nazis. Feel free to punch them at random. We'll see you later.
Can't believe she did that. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
And here it is. I found it. From
right.
the You Can't Make This Up file. On this Passover, may your celebrations be filled with blessing, peace, and joy.
Girl, that is so not a good look for you.
Save it. We know who you are, full of shit. Oh, you hypocrite. Nice to see the woman who met and dined with a Nazi last month, wishing everyone a happy Passover. And may you ignore and forget the fact that I took a Nazi out for lunch because, hey, how was I supposed to know? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And that's like it.
So not a good look.
No.
All right, kids.
Have a great
There
day.
you go.
See ya.
See ya.